Hey everyone, it's Gregory with eGuide Tech Allies back again to do another product walkthrough for you today. A lot of the clients that I've been working with are service-based companies and send out a fair amount of contracts and proposals to clients to kind of walk through the booking process. And there is a couple tools out there that are super helpful in making that process more automated and more efficient. Now, it depends on how many of those proposals you're sending out on a regular basis and what that process looks like. But one tool that has been super useful for a couple of my clients has been a tool called Proposify. And today I want to take you through kind of just the baseline of setting it up and what the interface looks like, giving you a little behind the scenes look of how this software works. Now, to get started, it's going to be a completely cloud-based, web-based API, so you can access it from literally any computer anywhere. It's not a program that lives within your computer, which is a great feature, so it doesn't have to be tied to a desktop or tied to a specific device. Now, of course, a lot of the new programs that are coming out, especially the web-based ones, are subscription-based, so you are looking at a monthly price commitment to use this product to a fuller capacity. You can set up an account for yourself and try it out for free, and that's what we're going to walk through today. But depending on how many people are on your team and what your sales team looks like, it may be the right solution for you, especially if you're sharing information. We're going to get into that a little bit more so as we go here. So let me share my screen again, and let's see here. Perfect. First thing we want to do is go to proposify.com, and that's proposify.com. And you're going to see the homepage pop up here in just a second. And right in the upper right-hand corner, which you can't see, I'm going to move this actually over here for now, is the sign up for free option. And automatically it's going to take you to a prompt to start filling out your information, which we're going to do that here. I'm going to clear out some of this auto-populated information here. So just go through and fill out your information, whatever email you want to use. I'm going to use the company email here and fill out your business name. Your Proposify URL can be your company name. .proposify.biz, and that's how anyone's going to approach your site, and then obviously create a password. And you can create your account with those credentials. Fingers crossed, hopefully this goes through. And I didn't already create an account to test this before, so great. Thanks for joining Proposify. Now that you're here, they want to show you around. We're going to skip this for now, but please, if you're doing this on your own or considering the software, I highly recommend going through some of the steps to get started. And then we're in the program, and it's fully functional and able to use in this test version as well. Obviously, when you want to send a proposal to a client, that's probably where they're going to want you to upgrade your trial. So you get a 13-day trial to try it out. So again, if this is something that you're considering for your business to help expedite your proposal process, this might be a good way to start and kind of test the waters. So over in the left-hand side is going to be your main directory and main navigation functions. So you have your pipeline, which the nice thing about this is there are some base level CRM functionalities in here. And this is something that I'm going to say about any sort of proposal software tool, is that it's not a full CRM system, but it does have some capabilities to manage your clients and the monetary values that are attached to those clients. So you're not going to be able to run some advanced reporting as you would within a CRM system. But the nice thing with Proposify and with a couple other proposal software tools is that there are integrations to, say, QuickBooks if you're using that, FreshBooks if you're using that for your accounting software system, and you can, I believe so, you can push some of the notifications from Proposify to third-party CRM systems as well. So this pipeline is meant to show you how many active proposals you have, and we'll walk through that example here in just a little bit. Then you have your content library, and this is going to be where all of the sections that you use on a regular basis live. So let's say we've customized a proposal for our company, and we want all of those pages available to bring into any other proposal that we are going to create. You can add those to your content library here. So there's sections, there's fees, snippets, and images that can all be customized and stored right within the content library. So when you go to add them to a new proposal, it's as simple as clicking on a add content and then finding it within the content library to add that page, including all of the text that you have saved within that page. So again, think of creating a proposal, at least for me, when I was in a sales position, a lot of the information remained the same. And then there were some tweaks and customizations that I would make per client that I was dealing with. So this is a gives you the ability to make sure that all of your boilerplate pages of your proposal are saved, and that you will have the ability to customize the information that needs customization. Make sense? Cool. So then you can go through all of the templates that are available within Proposify, and they are all kind of geared towards different industries. So take a look through and see. My recommendation would be starting with a proposal that is kind of close to what your brand messaging and imaging is already like, before you kind of start from scratch to build your own base template proposal. So one thing that I do for the clients that I've worked with is kind of build and customize those templates for them so they have a ground to work from, and based on their branding, on their color scheme, font collections, you name it, images that they want to have in there. But you can start as well with any of these built out templates. So they have it kind of filtered by industry. So there's design, there's software, marketing. If you're a marketing agency, there's even, I believe, a couple events which include catering, event management, event venue, for the event professionals who may be watching this. The alternative, and a lot of what comes up in the event industry that I've heard of, is the tool called Honeybook, and functionality is somewhat similar. What I like about Proposify is I believe it's in terms of pricing pretty equal, and you have a little bit more functionality in customizing those documents as you're moving forward as well. So just keep that in mind if you're considering a proposal software tool and you're in the events industry. So real estate is another one, professional services. So this would be anything like accounting or architecture. And you can see that some of these are also created in landscape mode or in portrait mode. So depending on how you want your clients to view it, one of the clients that I worked with was pretty well set on his clients were going to take the PDF of whatever was attached, or the proposal as it was sent over, and then print that out to review further with their team, and so on and so forth. If that's the case for you, I would recommend using a landscape proposal. If you think it's going to be more visually impactful for your clients to see that on the screen, I would probably use a landscape version, just because you get a little bit larger of a canvas to work from. Obviously, contracts are in here as well, and sample contracts, if you just need a cut and dry, their verbiage, and they'll say it right in here, is that they, are not legally responsible for using these contracts. But I've read through a couple of them, and the baseline information in there is pretty good to tweak from. Obviously, I would have your legal team look through whatever verbiage that you use in those before going live with it, but at least it gives you a ground to start from, which is a great little added bonus here as well. Other items in here in your board area, your navigation area, are your metrics. And this is the really kind of cool tool about any of these proposal software tools. In Proposify specifically, allows you to see how many people have viewed your proposals, how many of those proposals have closed, lost, how many proposals you've sent, and then in an individual proposal level, you can also see what pages they were on, how long did they spend on each of those pages. So are people going through the cover page and through the boilerplate information and going right to the budget page? Are they actually reading through the services that you're providing or the products that you're providing to them? Or are they just glancing over that and going straight to the billing? So that gives you a little insight on your clients as you're sending information out to them, and potential clients, on what information is important to them and how to further customize your proposals based on that information. So a lot of the proposals that I've seen have kind of some of that boilerplate information, the about us section, the here's our team section, towards the back end of the proposal, not leading with that information, because I think people know that, like, that's stock information, and great if they already know you or have a pre-existing relationship with you, they're going to scroll right through it. But if they are a new client, it may be something that they linger on afterwards, after they've seen the billing, whether they've qualified you at that point as well. So just some things to keep in mind there, on your own level if you're sending out proposals on a regular basis, not using a proposal software tool. That might be some insight to take with that as well. But here, all of your metrics are going to live here. Obviously, you can create a team and have different functionality. So if you are a team that's larger than just yourself, you can invite the entire sales team or whomever. Again, since the pricing model is a subscription based, there will be a charge for each additional user. Don't quote me on that, actually. I think the way that Proposify is set up, and we'll take a look at their pricing plans, is by active proposals, which is a little different than some of the other tools on there. Let me just pull up proposify.com and we'll go to the pricing right now. Why not? So with the pricing plans for Proposify, we have, I'm pretty sure it's by active proposals, and we're going to see here in just a second. So they do it by these coffee sizes. So a tall is $25 a month, and you can have up to 5 active proposals with one user account. So that's a base level, which, again, when you're comparing, if it's just yourself and you're just getting started out, $25 a month is kind of the same as what QuickBooks Online charges. I think QuickBooks Online is a little bit more. But keep in mind, if this is going to be the tool that's going to centralize your entire operation and create those efficiencies and allow you to close deals faster, it might be worth that money. If you're using a system right now that works well for you and you're not sending out tons and tons of proposals, then I would, stick with that and potentially grow into something like a proposal software tool, or grow into a CRM that you can log your proposals to, so you have that information staying in one place. The grande value here is $75 a month, and it gives you up to 50 active proposals. And the active proposals here are going to be the ones that are drafts sent or viewed. Archived won or lost proposals don't count. So anything that is either dead or closed, you can put into non-active active proposals. So I think 50 is a pretty significant number. If you're sending out more than 50 a month, you're doing a great job. Hats off to you. But that's $75 a month, and that will give you unlimited users. So I think for that kind of small business that's emerging and growing a little bit further, this might be the right option for you. You get that branded URL instead of going directly to the .proposify.biz, and then you have some online payment integrations here as well. And that's one thing that it's great functionality. I think the contract signing functionality and making that super easy and clickable without having to print, sign, scan, and send back is more important. And that comes in either of these levels. And then obviously your like Venti is the enterprise level, which I don't know if there would be a small business out there that would need that level of customization, document assistance, training, things like that. I think through the help resources, and then through resources like me, you would be able to kind of onboard and get yourself going pretty readily without using like an enterprise level, which that's obviously customizable based on the commitment to the company on a monthly basis, but obviously more than $75 a month. So let's jump back in here. Obviously, your teams can grow and you can assign different usabilities if you're the admin of the account. So if you just want team members to be able to collaborate on things, so on and so forth, that'll all live in here as well. And then where I was talking about some of that CRM functionality, all of your clients that you're logging to the system here are able to be kind of filtered and exported. Again, I wouldn't use this as the sole CRM system because you are going to be missing some of that information. But again, you have the integrations that may work from QuickBooks into Proposify and Proposify exporting into a third party. And then you have your resources, which I will say that out of some of the proposal software tools that I've looked through, the resources for Proposify, everything has a video and a guide kind of through it, and I highly recommend kind of searching through that if you are using it and getting started with it. Your account settings is where your billing information, everything will live, so on and so forth, and your integrations and things like that. So let's take a look. Let's jump into one of the pre-existing templates just to get a feel of how you can edit the interface and what that looks like. So let's go into a marketing proposal, one that's a little bit trendier here. Let's do this guy here. So you can preview what this looks like here by clicking on the preview button. And then it's going to pull up all of the pages that are built in here. So this is how basically the client interface looks as well. So when you send out a proposal, the way that this process works is that it integrates with your email, and then you send out basically a hub with a link that's fully customizable. There are some smart fields that you can incorporate into your canned messages when you send it out. So if it is that same message, hi, so-and-so, attached is your customized proposal. Please click the link below to view it, and we'd be happy to answer any questions or comments. Please feel free to pass those along, something along those lines. All of that can be saved as a canned response from your settings, and then the proposal link is customizable as well. So everything that gets sent out from Proposify can have your brand look, feel, logo, color, so on and so forth in it as well. And then when the client clicks on that link, they're taken to a screen like this, which is able to take them through the proposal. So they can scroll through this just like we are here. And as you go through the sections over to the left-hand side will correspond. And then within this, and we'll take a look at this further, but these names here, your company name, the owner name, things like that are all smart fields that if you do have multiple users on your team, this will kind of update and transfer over to their information based on kind of that smart merge field that they have in here. So this looks pretty good. It's a pretty straightforward proposal. It doesn't have tons of pictures, but it has a couple spreadsheets, a couple budget sheets, the contract, and then like you're seeing here, this is where that why us section comes in after your investment. So generally speaking, you may in your head want to lead with that information. Most of these proposals will put that in the back end behind the financial information. So just keep that in mind for yourself as well. So we have company bios, a sample case study back here, and then we get into the contract here, which again, you can use that as a baseline and customize further. And this has multiple pages as you're seeing over here. So the contract is actually 5 pages long, but it all lives within this contract section. And we'll take a look at how that works here in just a second as well. And then your signature page, which has 2 smart fields built into it as well. So when you send out this proposal, each of these signatures here prompt for a signature to that person that it's been assigned to. And so if you do want to copy people who are not decision makers, who are not responsible for that signature, you can do that in the email, but when that sign here prompt goes to that person who is a required signature or yourself to required to countersign, you will get that prompt that this is where you sign, and you can do that digitally and right there as soon as you're viewing that proposal. So some cool functionality in there as well. So let's take a look further and kind of import this template, and this will take us to where we can edit the content that lives within this entire proposal. So if the proposal loads, looks like we're getting there. There we go. So now we have this in our templates, which you can see here. We've navigated to the templates over here, and now this entire proposal, which was the base template now lives in our personal templates. So what we can do here is further customize this template based on any sort of further customizations that we want to make. One rule of thumb that I highly recommend doing there is once you've finalized your template, and especially as you're onboarding new people, to create a copy of that finalized template as kind of a quote unquote fail safe, just in case someone gets in here into the template editor when they think they're editing for a client and update any of that information that you may not want to change on a regular basis or delete out a page or something like that. You will have to recreate that page from the template, or start from scratch or customize another page. So just keep that in mind as well. So what we're looking at here is each of these boxes are independent images, and everything is pretty drag and drop. So if I want to move this image, I am able to do that. There's not that necessarily that same word auto formatting that happens. There is some formatting that does automatically happen that I'll try to point out here as we go through this. But for images specifically, you have pretty good control over that. So this is what the main editor looks like. So as you're seeing over here on the right-hand side, these same sections correspond to the sections that we just viewed and what would be kind of what the client would see. You have the ability to edit these page titles as well. So if you want this to say something other than overviews and goals, you can do that here, and kind of customize that even further. So maybe we want this to be just overview, because not every proposal is going to have goals attached to it. That's what we can do here. And then also, this little saved content library is allowing us to add this to our content library, which is different than templates. And so anytime that we further, or we're customizing a proposal and we want a page from the template, and maybe we've deleted it out, or maybe it's another template that we're pulling in from that has a different functionality, as long as it's saved to the content library, we'll be able to pull in those individual pages into any proposal, which is great. So we're going to update the settings here. You can also tag these pages as you're going through, as you just saw on the bottom there. So just as you're seeing here, we have overview and goals. Maybe we just want this to say overview. It's as simple as double clicking to get the edit field and then editing it just like you would a Word document. One thing I will say is that the way that this program is designed is for you to create a suite of fonts and styles so that your styling is consistent across the board. So as you're seeing up here where it says heading 1, typically that would be like a choose a font drop down or something like that. That's not how this is designed. What we want to do is make sure that all of the heading ones that we use for anything in the proposal is the same font and the same color. You can adjust the size based on the location, but at least font and color will match no matter where it is. So if I change this to heading 2 per se, this is going to change the font and size. Maybe I didn't want that text yellow. I can increase the size here to make it the same. I think it was at 42 before. So at least we have the functionality there to adjust the size, but you won't be able to choose a whole new suite of fonts as you're going through. You, of course, can edit the design, which let's take a look at what this looks like. So this is where, let me move my screen a little bit here. This is where all of our typography styles are going to exist, and this is where we're selecting different font styles, but this is attached now, remember, to the specific type style. So whether it's body, heading 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you do have experience with Illustrator or InDesign or anything like that, that's kind of how the same format of these programs work. So just keep in mind that this is across the board, that no matter when that font is used throughout the proposal, it will be that same style. So if you did want to customize to have a couple different options in there, say this intro paragraph might not be that font that you use on a regular basis, you may want to make that one the font you use for something special that you customize. So you're not changing a bunch of font, your body font, every time that you want to change to a specific font. Again, we're talking probably once you get everything set up and running, not a huge amount of editing, but just something to keep in mind there as well. So Again, this video, if you want to understand further, is right above, which I like about their help features. You can change the colors here, the size of that, the alignment, top margin, bottom margin, you name it, and then update here. This will apply to all of the tables that you're putting in here as well. So all of your table footer, body, table header print is its own font as well. And that's going to apply more so when we get down here to the actual tables. So this would be an example of a table, the time frame. It's giving you a week estimate here, and same with the budget down here. So the investment statement, you'll be able to customize those fonts based on those table font that you specify here. So let's get out of here. The other areas that you can edit the design in are the table styles. So what that header background color looks like, if it alternates. So customizing the table styles is another one. And then your page setup here. So you have a couple different page options, and you can edit these within a proposal as well. But keep in mind that consistency is key with any sort of branded document that you're sending out for your client. So make sure that if you are using two different templates, that the imaging and messaging is consistent across the board. And that's where I would be happy to help anyone that's out there go through the steps to make sure that the proposal templates that you're using are customized and fit the brand and imaging that you're looking for, just so you have those to work from and you're not reinventing the wheel every time you need to send out a proposal with different content in it. So I would say that's a huge key to making your messaging consistent with the clients that you're coming into contact with. But you have the option to adjust that in here as well. So what can we do in terms of adding different elements to the proposal is all done in this left-hand toolbar here. So we can add shapes, we can add actual video into the proposal. So let's say we want to just add a new page. Let's add a new section right before the cover that is intro. And so when you're creating a new section, you have the ability to create a page on a flow, which means that if your content goes beyond that first page, it will add an additional page to the same section over here. If that's not selected, then you will just have one page to work from. Make sense? And if you need a fee table in that, I would do it when you're creating the section. It's just a lot easier than inputting a fee table into the section. So if we create this intro section, this is going to give us a blank page. And this is as simple as dragging and dropping these to reorder. I just realized something. Your cover is stuck. And I do realize that before when I was talking to another client or helping another client, is that your cover always has to be the same page, but in terms of anything beyond the cover, you can drag and drop and reorder those how you see fit. So it may make more sense for a client who has specifically asked about a case study to put that first before the information of what you're guaranteeing them. And that's as simple as taking this case study and dragging that up above the scopes and services. So with this intro section that we just created, as you can see, it's a pretty blank page. We can zoom out here. It has our footer in it, which is great. So this is something that you'll want to customize for each of your pages as well. And then let's say we wanted to put in a video here. It's as simple as dragging and dropping that there. And then let's just to test it out, let's go to YouTube and see if I can pull up one of my previous videos just for convenience sake. And let's see here. If I go to my channel and I pull up the video that I posted last week and take the embeddable link. And let me just make sure if they're asking for embeddable or if they're asking for embedded code. Yep, so paste an embedded code from YouTube, Vimeo, or Wistia. So we're going to go to the embedded section here and just copy this whole thing and then paste that into here. Really quick side note here, if you want to adjust the size of your embedded code, that's where the width and height are. So once we save this, what we're going to see is that video lives right within here. And actually within this, we're able to further customize that screen right from here. So say you wanted to do an intro video like I am doing right now, a little customized hello to the client beforehand. You can create that, post that to YouTube, and then put that in as an interactive feature that they're not going to get on a printed proposal, which is great. It's something differentiating that your other competitors may not be doing. And you have the ability to do that here. And especially with video content being so popular, that little extra step of customization may go a long way. So let's kind of brand this even further. Let's say I want to take the top 3 photos here. Let's see. We have 2 selected, which is great. Let's see if I can select a third. I'm holding down the Shift key here and selecting multiple items. So 1, 2, 3. And then let me try this keyboard shortcut. I just pressed copy, but I think you can do it here as well, which is duplicate. And then let's see if I can paste these onto this page here. What do you know? Easy as that. So now I have this header section here, and let me just format this out a little bit more. My video, and then I can put in the footer section too if I want. So if I want these last 6, I'm just holding down the Shift key again, 3, 4, 5, 6, and copying and pasting, and let's drag it down a little bit just so it doesn't cover my video. And then let's make this fit right within that window that I've just created. So again, this is something that your users are going to be able to see right from the proposal interface itself. So especially if it's pertinent to their project, or if you have custom created a video that applies to their project or done something visual for them, it's super great that you're able to integrate that right within the proposal that you're going to be sending out there as well. So images are the same way. You can have an image library. So anything that is specific to the proposal that you're working from will automatically upload to that image library. So there's a lot of images that you can use and repurpose throughout the proposals that are available on Proposify, or it's as simple as dragging and dropping a new image right in there. So logos, they only accept JPEG and PNG and GIFs. So just keep that in mind as well. So again, not that it's always super professional, but if you are having a client who is a little bit more casual and would appreciate a moving GIF within their proposal to make them laugh as they're looking through the content and create a more engaging experience, you can do that here too, which is cool. And then shapes, anything along circles, squares, stars, I think you can do that all within shapes, lines, and then your fee tables. And just to go through the fee table a little bit here, as kind of one of the last things we look at, the fee tables are pretty customizable, and they do have some smart technology in terms of formulas that are automatically built in. So this is kind of a summary row here, and you can add that to the specific tables that you're working from. And then each option that you have here, once I click on these setting options, we have some fee table options. So if the fee type is fixed, obviously if it's just a flat fee, you can do that. If it's a unit or quantity, a monthly, annually, hourly, you can allow the client who's looking at the proposal to manipulate the quote in real time. So say it's a unit or quantity, and I want to create it as optional for the client, and I want to create those quantities to be editable. So let's say it's a product that I'm selling, and you only need you can have a minimum of like 2 of these products, but you can increase up to 10 of these products. That's what I will want to be able to give that power over to the client as they're looking so that they can update a real-time quote for themselves. So once I update this row, I'm going to see some other functionality here. So instead of this being just a flat fixed fee of one, now I have the ability to increase this, which will automatically increase the pricing and then automatically adjust the quote to reflect that same thing as well. So this information, anything that's edited by the client as they're looking at it, will be saved and then obviously live within that proposal hub that you're looking at as well, which is great. So we've adjusted that. There's some other options in here as well, and within the table as a whole. So as you're seeing, some of this functionality is a little, especially when it gets to the fee tables, I find it to be a little tricky to get to the right area of what you're looking for. So just keep in mind that your like arrows, if you select a cell, sometimes it's a little finicky to get to, like, let's say these like table settings over here or something like that. So same thing with most everything. Everything is drag and drop. So I can reorder my fee table as I see fit. And then I can add additional fee tables in here as well by dragging and dropping a fee table onto the page. So let's say it's a two-part quote or it's a two-phase project and you want to break that out into individual phases. You can do that here. And this is where you're going to have the option of identifying that it's going to be a mixed table or it's an annual table, or if you want to show the total in the footers, include totals, so on and so forth. You can also save fee tables to your content library. So say it's something that you may not be pulling into every proposal that you're sending out. This is where that tool will come in handy, is if you pull in that just the fee table and it's consistent across the board for all of the users that are using it, all they have to do is manipulate the information within that fee table instead of creating the entire thing from scratch every time, which is huge and a huge time saving. So if I insert that table here, I get a fee table that looks very similar to the one above. It's formatted correctly, and then I can add additional rows as needed and define those as I see fit, which is great, super easy, enough functionality that it's not overly complex for every user, but enough that you're going to get what you're looking to do, which is great. So the last thing I want to cover here is actually generating proposal. So within each new proposal, it pulls from that template that you're working from. So again, why it's important to create a fail-safe template, because you, especially when you're getting going, you may have the urge to just start editing the template thinking that it's a proposal and that you're going to generate that for a client, which yes, that one proposal will look great, but you've now just edited the entire template. So it's nice to have that fail-safe saved in. So within generating a new proposal, you can name what that proposal is going to look like, who that client's going to be. And the nice feature here is that you don't have to go to another section to create a new client. You can put that right within here and then add their company in this same hub that you're working from. And then whatever their email address is, and then adding a client, which is great. And then you can specify due dates for clients for proposals as well. So say it's a 2-day turnaround, so I'm going to get this to them by the end of the week. You can attach external documents into the proposal hub. So say the client sent over the RFP or sent over some sort of supplemental document, those can be attached right within this proposal interface. So you can always reference back to them. And then additional information, you may want to number your proposals. You may want to have the project led by someone else. Say you're producing a proposal for someone else within the company, or your boss, or you want a producer to take the lead, something like that. That's where this lives. And then you can tag each proposal here as well. The notes are just for internal purposes, as it says here, but those will show up in the activity feed. So if you do have multiple users, you'll have that proposal activity feed, which will basically be like a news feed for your company as well. So if I click on the next steps here, now I'm going to be taken into kind of the editing interface, which will look a lot like the interface that we were just in. And this will allow me to customize that information however I need to based on that client. And then it's as simple as everything, if everything looks good. So keep in mind some of these smart fields automatically adjust. So if I go into this intro letter, I should see my name right here. So this is the client first name. So that's what that field is. You can do client first and last. And then the information down here as well is customized. I need obviously tweak my internal settings to make sure that that shows up a little bit better. But that information is based on smart fields as well. So if I'm ready to send, the process here is super straightforward. It's basically like sending out any other email, but what you want to do is you can custom create a signature for yourself with that mimics whatever your email signature is, and then you can specify who you want to send that to. You can send it, copy internal people as well, and then the last thing that the Proposify will prompt you to do is if you are sending it to the client who's responsible for signature, and you are responsible for signature on your end, it will have you specify those signature fields specific to that proposal at the end as well. So keep in mind that as you're sending out these emails as well, all of the smart fields that are used in the proposal are also usable when you're sending out the email. So proposal name and company name, go right in here. And as you can see in the sample over here, branding and identity, eGuide Tech Allies. So that's correspondent to the subject field, smart fields here. And then same within the email. And you can create a couple different canned responses for yourself based on what proposals you're sending out, which is great. Now, this isn't the best example, but you can see what some of that customization will look for the emails that you're sending out. So this black bar around the perimeter of the email can be any sort of color. You can add your logo to your system interface, and that logo will pop up kind of dead center here. And then your signature, once you customize that, will fall below. This button background and button text color can all be customized, so it can match your brand standards as well, which is a nice little personal touch on that sending of the proposal as well. So you can send a test email to yourself, and this is what's going to send through. And then as soon as you click on the view proposal button, it will take you to that same interface. Let's see what happens here. And this is what the client is going to see on their end. So right at the bottom, you have the total of the proposal. I have the ability to export to a PDF right from the screen, which is great. And then I have the ability to decline or accept this bid right from that interface. So it really kind of pushes you to close from the onset, which is great, but it's not overly obtrusive. It's not like a pop-up that's in your face or appearing after a certain time or anything like that. So it's not overly pushy, but it's very convenient for users to see all of that snapshot information and then accept or decline there. So as we scroll through here, you're going to see that same functionality that we looked at from before. And then we get down to the contract, and I don't think I put in, or the signature page, I don't think I put in those smart fields. But this area here is where we would click to sign, and then both you and the client would have to sign and countersign. So I know we just covered a ton of information, but this is kind of a baseline of what a proposal software system looks like, specifically Proposify. It's one of my favorites right now. And so if there's any need in your company, if you're sending out a lot of these documents to streamline your efforts and create some efficiencies within your team, I would be happy to take you through different options that are available and see what may work best for your team. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to start a discussion about proposal software tools because I am a nerd about this stuff. Feel free to leave those down wherever you're viewing this, whether it be YouTube or Facebook, and feel free to subscribe to the YouTube page to get updates on more of these videos coming out, or the Facebook page if you want to like that to get videos, updates, and information about eGuide there. I'm going to continue to do these videos until I run out of things to talk about. So thanks for tuning in. Until next time, we'll see you.